We all love figgy pudding. Ho 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 guys, it's Christmas again. Now guys, if you were with me last year when I made Christmas pudding, this is Christmas pudding Mark 2. It's even fuller with flavour. Please share the love, hit that thumbs up button down there, and let's get on and show you what's going in this year's Christmas pudding. Okay, a quick introduction to our ingredients this year, guys. We're going to be using a dark ale, and you can use a stout. That'll be beautiful. It'll enhance the flavour of the pudding. Come down here, we've got our raisins and our sultanas. We've got some dates and some currants. Now come up quickly. I'm going to put all the ingredients down below, so don't forget, if you need everything, it's all written down below. We've got a lovely dark sugar, we've got our suet, we've got some candied peel, I've got breadcrumbs, a little bit of flour, and I'm going to be using a deep dark molasses to richen the flavour. A secret this year, guys, Dutch refined cocoa. It's going to really enhance the flavour and the colour of the pudding. We've got nutmeg, ginger, we've got cinnamon and cloves. And in the middle here, I've got some Glace Cherries. We're going to be using the skin off a lemon and an orange. That's a zest off there to give it some tang. 1 apple and a couple of eggs. And guys, we'll end where we started with the alcohol. We're also going to be putting brandy in this one. It's important. And when you serve the Christmas pudding, we want to set a light to it with some brandy. And that video also I promised to do for somebody. That'll be coming up shortly. Now I know I'm going to get asked about suet. What is it? Where can I get it from? Most supermarkets should sell it, but if you can't get it there, you should be able to get it from your butcher. It's a beautiful ingredient that makes the Christmas pudding light and fluffy. I wouldn't make it without it, but you could use butter instead, so you decide. And all those ingredients are going to be going into this tiny little pudding bowl. All that flavour in there, so let's get on and make this Christmas pudding. Okay, let's get this recipe started. We've got 140 grams, that's about 5 ounces of sultanas. The same again of raisins into a bowl, exactly the same amount of beautiful dark currants, and again 140 grams, 5 ounces of dates. Now they've been chopped up slightly into the bowl. Now I've got 50 grams, a couple of ounces of Glace Cherries, and I've just cut them in half in there as well with the rest of the dried fruits. The same, a couple of ounces, 50 grams of Candied Peel. So you can imagine all the flavours that are in there now. Now remember that lemon? I've grated the zest of the lemon. Let's just pop that in there. And the orange too, all the zest from that beautiful orange. Pop that on top. Now we're going to add flavour to this now, and we're going to rehydrate it by using 1 cup of our dark ale. Now you could use a Guinness stout or any ale. I'm going to pop that in there now. A couple of tablespoons of dark molasses. Now you could use a treacle as well, but I'm using a dark molasses here. Now the molasses are not only going to add a lovely dark colour, but a rich sort of smoky sweet undertone. And I'm going to top this off with a good slug of brandy. Once that's all in the bowl, we're just going to mix that through, mix the fruit through. And we're going to leave these fruits overnight in the bowl to completely absorb all that liquid, all that flavour, all that rich, beautiful alcohol. There you have it, guys. Look at that. It's beautiful. Leave that for 24 hours to settle and soak up the juices. So now it's time to toss those dry ingredients in the bowl. We've got 100 grams, that's about 3.5 ounces of dark brown sugar. 100 grams, 3.5 ounces of breadcrumbs. The same weight of suet. And about half that of all-purpose flour. That's about 60 grams or about 2 ounces. Now before we stir these in, we want to get our spices in there. I've got a teaspoon of ginger. I've got 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. A teaspoon of cinnamon. And about half a teaspoon of crushed cloves. Now here's where I am experimenting. I'm really interested to see whether this works well, but I'm putting a couple of tablespoons of Dutch processed cocoa in there. And then we're just going to mix those dry ingredients together. Now you remember last night we put this fruit into the ale and the brandy. Look how it's soaked up all those juices. It's lovely and plump. We're going to add that now into our dry ingredients. Now very quickly, take an entire apple and just grate it up. You can leave the core on and the skin of course, because we want all the roughage. We're not going to grate the core. And then I'm going to pop that grated apple in there as well. 2 fresh eggs. And then we're going to stir all these ingredients together. Now, if you're a lover of Christmas puddings and all things Christmas, the smell coming off here now is absolutely delicious. So now we have to get our pudding mixture from here into the bowl, and I'll do that with magic. There you have it. I've got the pudding mixture now into the bowl. It's just about proud to the top. We don't want it too high because this will rise a little bit as we're steaming it. Now we just want to cover the top of the pudding with some parchment, and the best way to do that, we need a little circle. Just get a piece of greaseproof paper and just fold it to a little point like that. And then take your bowl, work out where the center is, and just snip that off across there. And then when you unroll the piece of parchment, unravel it, you've got a nice little circle there that we can just pop on top to protect the pudding. And then we can just cover this over with some silver foil. Now I've put a little fold in that, a little pleat, and what that will do, that allows, if our pudding expands, it allows the foil to expand out as it cooks. And then we want to tie a little bit of string around here. Now my pudding dishes, they have these little covers that come with them, and you can then pop that on there, tie it around the edges. And the great thing about these little covers is they give you a little handle then that you can lift the pudding in and out of the pressure cooker or the pot that you're cooking it in. And now we're going to cook this pudding off. Now you've got two options here. We either pop it into a big saucepan with some water in the bottom, put a trivet or a little plate to keep it off of the flame. So we let the water come up to a boil, and then we let the pudding steam inside with a cover over the pot for about 6 hours. Or, my preferred option, if you've got a pressure cooker, and we have, you can pop it into the pressure cooker on the trivet, put the water in there, and then it's only an hour and a half and the pudding's cooked. So I'm going to pop this one now in our pressure cooker, and we'll see it when it comes out. So there we have our Christmas pudding an hour and a half later. I can open up the pressure cooker, the steam's going to come out of there. Look at that, that looks beautiful. The smell coming out of there is delicious. I'm going to let that cool down now on the side, and then I'm going to unpack it and just refresh the paper. Come back in a moment. So let's get the cover off and have a look at our Christmas pudding. Now you see why I made that fold there, because it's really puffed up beautifully. Now that is delicious. It's still piping hot. Look at that Christmas pudding. It's, oh, the smells of Christmas coming off there now. Now, I've prepared another round of that wax paper. And I'm going to say goodbye to this Christmas pudding because I'm going to cover it with the wax paper, a fresh piece of wax paper. And then I'm going to give this a quick clean off and a sterilize. And then this will go back over the Christmas pudding. And we'll be storing that in a cool, dark area until Christmas time. Now, the Christmas puddings just get better with age. They're absolutely delicious, and that's why I always implore people to get on and make them early, because even the year before is great. And if you haven't made Christmas pudding before, give it a try. Homemade Christmas pudding is delicious. It's just outstanding compared to store-bought, and it isn't difficult to make, so give this a try. Thank you for joining me for this one, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Ho, ho, ho. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. So please subscribe to the channel. I'll link to a few videos here. Be good. Ho, ho, ho. Have a great week. See you shortly.